I think most of you can relate to this. You can read, you can speak, but when it comes to writing, you just don't know how to do it and where to start. You feel like you forget all the words immediately and grammar. Don't even get me started on that. I completely understand how you feel, and that's why in this video, I'm gonna talk about how to write in a foreign language at any level, even if you're a beginner. I'm learning English, Spanish, and Chinese, and the way I write in these languages is obviously a little bit different because I have a different level of proficiency in each language. In English, I feel extremely confident. I can write, whatever it is I'm thinking about, and I don't need a dictionary. In Spanish, the grammar is complicated. Sometimes I need to use a dictionary. In Chinese, I always have to use a dictionary because I have to make sure that I write the characters correctly. The tools that I use for all these languages are the same. First of all, I use my Notion template that I talked about in my previous video. If you want to, you can click this link and check it out right now. I like to journal on my computer the most in English because this way I can also practice my typing speed, like improve my typing speed. And right now I'm trying to learn how to type in English. Basically, it's when you're typing without looking at your keyboard, and I'm trying to type faster. And basically this way I'm improving my English, I'm improving my typing speed, and that's why I use my Notion template in English. If you're curious, the website that I use to learn how to type faster is called typingclub.com. I really like it. The second tool I use is my regular paper notebook. It's pretty small, so I can carry it with me anywhere. The reason why I like to use my paper notebook, my journal, is because this way I can journal in bed comfortably, or at least for me it's more comfortable this way, and I feel like I don't have any distractions because sometimes I don't want to stare at my computer, And also, usually I journal in English and in Russian here because Russian is my native language, and I usually write my thoughts, especially after I had a conversation with my therapist, so it's very personal and sometimes it's a very difficult thing that I'm trying to describe here. So obviously, if I were to write all of these thoughts in Spanish or in Chinese, for example, I don't know, it would be very difficult because the level of proficiency I have in these languages is not as high. And when I journal on my computer, I always use QuillBot to enhance my writing because QuillBot shows me all the mistakes I made and it changes my sentences if needed. It's important for me to make sure that there are no errors related to spelling, grammar, or punctuation when I journal in foreign languages. When I use QuillBot as my Chrome extension, it gets easier for me to journal on Google Docs or on Notion because this way, QuillBot checks my writing instantly and corrects all the mistakes. For example, here's one of my journal entries in English, and here are all the mistakes that QuillBot noticed there and corrected. Now I want to use their paraphraser tool and make my sentence sound more fluent. Amazing, right? QuillBot's website has a lot of other tools as well that help me become more confident and more fluent in English and in a lot of other languages. I'll give you a few more examples of how I use QuillBot later in this video, but if you want to check it right now, the link is in the description. So now let's talk about how I actually practice writing. The first thing I do is I choose my resource that I'm gonna get inspiration from, because let's be real, sometimes you just open your journal and you're like, and now what? What am I supposed to write? I have no idea, I have no motivation, no inspiration, my mind is blank. So in those moments, I use a resource. For example, first I watch a YouTube video, and then I journal my thoughts based on this YouTube video, for example, or I read an article online and then I can answer some questions related to this article, or I can just write, I just read this article and here are my thoughts. Let's say that I read this article in English first and now I want to respond to all of these questions. And a great tip for you is you can always translate this website. So that's why I only use this website with daily news to practice English and Spanish, because because I can just translate the text to Spanish. Yes, sometimes there are mistakes, but it's totally fine because I can just use one resource and read daily news in all of these languages. Before I actually start journaling, I have to make sure that I have all my translation tools ready. And usually I use DeepL, the DeepL translator, because it's very accurate and it's just, a lot of people around the world stand by this translation tool. QuillBot also has a translator, and I sometimes use Spanish dictionary. If I am practicing journaling in Spanish, I really like Spanish dictionary for like specific words. And then I basically begin with the first question. What are your thoughts on sober October? Obviously, first I need to read the article, but then I move on to this first question and I just start journaling. Whether it's in my paper journal or in my computer, I just start writing down my thoughts. It's important to remember, however, that when I journal in English, I feel very confident and I can write a whole paragraph on sober October and all of the thoughts I have related to alcohol and all of that. But when I write in Spanish, obviously I don't have this level of proficiency yet, so it's fine. I just write whatever I can write. Like, don't be too harsh on yourself. The goal here is to just practice journaling and have a great time. If I don't know a specific word, let's say mint. I don't know how to say mint in Spanish. I obviously use my dictionary and I Google and then I use this word. I try not to just if I'm journaling in Spanish, use some English words, create this Spanglish in my journal. It's not really my goal. My goal is to improve my Spanish, and that's why I do use a dictionary when I journal. Once I finish writing my answer, I either ask my teacher for help, to check my mistakes, or I just input all of this into QuillBot, and QuillBot checks my writing and makes sure that I don't have any mistakes. Their paraphraser tool is available in many different languages, so I can use it in English and in Spanish as well. While writing, I inevitably notice new words, right? New words and maybe even grammar structures, and then I input all of this into Anki because I want to know how to say mint in Spanish, so I want to remember this word. And for me to remember this word successfully and to be able to recall this word, I need to use a spaced repetition system. And after I finish writing, if I feel like it, I might go deeper into this topic. I might watch an additional YouTube video about alcohol, for example, in Spanish, because obviously this topic is connected to the topic of alcohol, drinking, maybe going to bars. And this is actually where your proficiency comes from. When you choose a topic, and if you're interested in this topic, you go very deep. You dig deep, you find as much information as you can, and you learn all of these new words. But it only works if you're actually interested in this topic, because it's something that helped me a lot with my English, because a few years ago I was very interested in nutrition, and instead of looking for all of this information in Russian, my native language, I decided to look for all of this information in English. Yes, at the beginning it was challenging because there were lots of words I didn't know, but then a few months in I was like, I'm fine, I feel confident, I know all of these words, and I also feel like I have a lot of knowledge, right? A lot of knowledge on this topic. I feel confident, I can talk about it, and then I decided to choose a different topic, maybe I don't know, flowers, because I became very interested in different flowers. And again, I was learning more and more words and just more information on this topic. So this is how I usually write. As you can see, I don't just journal about my day, because sometimes I clearly don't know what to talk about. I feel like I haven't done anything today, and if I start writing, I haven't done anything today, it's just too boring. Sometimes using all of these resources helps me to get started, to give me a little bit more motivation, and to start writing. But I also wanted to share this one thing that for me personally, it's important to prioritize input over output. And obviously, journaling is a form of output, because even when I don't have enough time, I'm busy, I'm stressed, I try to focus on the input. For example, listening to something or watching something, because it's more important, and sometimes it's not as difficult for me to get started, right? Because journaling is hard. Writing in a foreign language is difficult. Speaking a foreign language is difficult. Of course, if you want to, you have to practice journaling if it's something you're interested in, if you want to improve your writing skills. The same thing with speaking skills. If you want to improve your speaking skills, you actually need to practice speaking. But to be able to have a good level of proficiency in the language, you have to spend enough time on the input, reading, listening, and watching something in this language. Don't forget to give QuillBot a try by clicking the link in the description. It has a lot of different writing tools to help you enhance your writing and correct all of your mistakes. You can try their website and install their Chrome extension. The link will be down in the description. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video.